What if the strongest people you know aren't the ones who shout the loudest, but those who move in quiet whispers? We often mistake outward displays for true power, the booming voice, the confident stance, the social spotlight. But real resilience, it rarely announces itself. It blossoms in the shadows, unseen and unheard. This is the story of that quiet power, the kind that survives storms without fanfare, that heals without applause, that builds itself back up from the ruins over and over again. This is the silent language of unseen strength. 1. The invisible scars of resilience. Strength doesn't always look like what we imagine. It's not carved biceps or booming speeches. Sometimes it's the mother holding her tears in silence while holding her family together. It's the friend who smiles every day while quietly fighting battles nobody else can see. It's the man who keeps showing up after losing everything. These are the invisible scars of resilience, marks not on the skin but on the soul. The truth is, the strongest people rarely tell you they're strong. They're the ones who endured heartbreak without turning bitter, who faced rejection and still chose to believe in kindness. Their strength lies not in how loud they resist, but in how gently they rebuild. Outward appearances can deceive us. We're drawn to confidence that commands attention, to power that fills rooms. Yet the people who quietly pick up the pieces of their shattered worlds without recognition or reward often possess a deeper kind of courage. They don't wear medals. They carry lessons. The world often celebrates visible triumphs, promotions, trophies, success stories wrapped neatly in social media posts. But the truest victories are the unseen ones. The person who gets out of bed after depression, who forgives instead of retaliates, who starts over when nobody's watching. Their scars aren't weaknesses. They're proof of endurance. Silent proof that strength doesn't need an audience. Tatana 2. Cultivating quiet power. Quiet power is not the absence of struggle. It's the art of transforming pain into purpose. It begins with silence, not noise. In stillness, you face yourself fully. You confront fears that the world distracts you from. You listen to your heart, your failures, your dreams. To cultivate inner strength, one must learn solitude, not loneliness, but the kind of solitude that strengthens your spirit. The habit of reflection builds emotional muscle. Every setback becomes a teacher. Every quiet night spent in thought becomes a forge for resilience. In this kind of strength, comparison fades. The need for validation evaporates. You stop performing strength and start embodying it. Self-care isn't indulgence, it's maintenance for the soul. It's how you refill what the world drains from you. True strength is not the armor you wear to impress others. It's the roots you grow to stabilize. Here's an in-depth explanation of the top 3 remaining parts of your outline, unpacking their ideas, meaning, and emotional depth to help you understand how they fit into the silent language of unseen strength. 3. The unseen architects of change. This section highlights the quiet revolutionaries, the people whose influence doesn't come from noise or fame, but from consistency, patience, and purpose. These are the teachers, healers, caregivers, scientists, artists, and ordinary citizens who keep the world turning when no one is watching. Their stories remind us that change doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it whispers. Imagine the nurse who spends her nights comforting strangers, the janitor who keeps a hospital safe from infection, the activist who works for years before the world catches up to their vision. These are the unseen architects. They remind us that leadership doesn't require a stage, only integrity and endurance. The goal of this part is to shift perspective, to show that quiet persistence can build legacies more enduring than loud ambition. It challenges the audience to rethink what impact really looks like. True influence begins when you do the right thing, not because people are watching, but because your conscience demands it. Every act of silent courage and every decision made in private integrity becomes a brick in the foundation of social progress. This part of the script humanizes strength. It says, you might never be celebrated, but you can still be the reason the world is better. 4. The power of understated influence. This section explores how quiet confidence often carries more authority than arrogance ever could. In a culture obsessed with attention, subtle influence feels rare, almost radical. Yet the most powerful individuals tend to be those who don't need to prove anything. Their calm steadiness commands respect without demand. Think of leaders who speak softly yet move nations, figures who embody composure instead of chaos. Understated influence is about emotional intelligence, the ability to stay centered, listen deeply, and act deliberately. These are people who anchor others during storms. Their presence communicates strength more than any speech could. The section also highlights that in relationships, workplaces, and communities, quiet strength builds deeper trust. Loud dominance may win obedience, but quiet confidence earns loyalty. It reframes influence as energy rather than volume. Those who remain kind under pressure, who hold space for others, who bring peace instead of panic, these are the true leaders. Ultimately, it invites viewers to consider this. Real power isn't about controlling others. It's about mastering yourself, embracing your inner fortress. This is the emotional and philosophical culmination of the entire message, a personal call to action. Here, the viewer is invited inward. The inner fortress represents the core of self-trust that survives every hardship. It's where your lessons, resilience, and values live. This section turns reflection into empowerment. It asks the audience to recognize the quiet victories they've already won, the battles fought in silence, the times they showed up despite fear. By honoring those moments, you realize that strength isn't external validation. It's internal stability. The section also challenges societal norms. The idea that strength must look loud, dominant, or masculine. Instead, it presents a more human, inclusive form of power, one rooted in peace, balance, and authenticity. It ends with a sense of liberation. Once you embrace your inner fortress, you stop performing for approval. You act from conviction. You become your own anchor, your own proof of survival. It's both an ending and a beginning, a reminder that unseen resilience doesn't need applause to exist. It's enough that it keeps you standing.